films talked about here were both made in the classical Hollywood era of American cinema. Both films comment on World War II era economic and political policies of the United States. The main event separating the two films is the war itself, as Citizen Kane was released in 1941 and It's a Wonderful Life in 1946. I'll be focusing on scenes from each. The closing scene in It's a Wonderful Life from 2 hours 5 minutes and 23 seconds to 2 hours 7 minutes and 12 seconds, and the epilogue to Citizen Kane, particularly the use of the crane shot from 1 hour 54 minutes and 54 seconds to 1 hour 55 minutes and 46 seconds. Both films make it known that they are starkly opposed to American capitalism and extreme wealth. Citizen Kane is a direct critique of the super rich and how their lifestyle affects them. It's a Wonderful Life is a far more lighthearted film with critique mixed into a rather traditional Christmas story. Citizen Kane spends a lot of time on the frivolity of Kane's lifestyle and his possessions. This is made especially apparent at the end of the film. Crane shots in this scene make it clear how meaningless Kane's wealth really is. The shot directly following this one shows a group of men burning and destroying his possessions. The film makes it clear that Kane had no particular love for any of his property. All he wanted was human connection. There are a lot of parallels between Kane and the main villain of It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Potter. There is a large wealth gap between the two, but in the context of their world, they have seemingly unlimited power. Both films make it clear that wealth does not lead to happiness. It's a Wonderful Life ends with George Bailey, the protagonist, realizing that he's helped so many people, and they return this by saving his building and loan. Citizen Kane's political standing is not as immediately apparent. The film argues that an extreme form of wealth is wrong from a moral and economic perspective. In It's a Wonderful Life, during the closing scene, George Bailey's brother calls him the richest man in town. Potter and Kane both lose because their wealth is their downfall in the worlds of the two films. Part of the message of It's a Wonderful Life is that self-worth shouldn't be measured in terms of money, but instead in kindness. Citizen Kane addresses this directly at 29 minutes and 16 seconds when he states, "If I hadn't been very rich, I could have been a great man." The thing that separates Kane and Potter is while Kane dies alone and unhappy, Potter never dies. In fact, in terms of monetary wealth, Potter doesn't really lose anything. He doesn't gain anything and remains stagnant and unhappy, which is more important in the world of It's a Wonderful Life. Citizen Kane and It's a Wonderful Life both feature sad old men with nothing but money. However, Mr. Potter lives. This is to tell the audience that human kindness and community is still at risk of extermination under current economic systems that govern American cities. Kane's death serves an entirely different purpose. Kane only dies when his second wife, and last chance at true human connection, leaves him. Kane and Potter's aims are very different. This is why the final shots of Citizen Kane are of all the things he had that didn't matter to him. And It's a Wonderful Life's final scene has nothing to do with Potter directly. In Potter's mind, he hasn't lost at all.